Agriculture continues to play the most vital part in the Indian economy. As a matter of fact, India is the second largest producer of fruits and vegetables in the world after China. In the year 2016-17, India produced 186 million tons of vegetables and 92 million tons of fruits. Even with that high an output, India depends on other producing nations for its domestic needs. In the same period, 2016-17, India imported fruits and vegetables worth Rs 5,900 crores. Indian imports have increased 6 times faster than exports in past 20 years. Generally, fruits and vegetables are imported into India to cater to domestic demands.
The imported fresh produce market in India is significantly increasing. In last 2 decades, if I talk about the numbers, from almost 300 tons from the first year, it has reached close to 400,000 tons.
India imports to either address the shortfall in local produce or for the want of other global varieties.
It's amazing. How the market is growing for imported fresh produce. People are becoming more focused. They're trying to eat more healthy. So what that is helping out the market to increase the overall consumption. Even the culture for people to move towards more healthier fruit as an option for snacking is really helping.
A rising demography of health-conscious, well-traveled, and exposure to international cuisines has led to demand for both of the local and exotic variety. The exotic fruit market is approximately pegged at Rs 3,000 crores. Apples lead this estimated import with a 66% of market share. The Indian fresh produce imports have been growing at a steady pace of near 15% over the years.
So in terms of commodities, on the fresh produce side, apple as a category has grown up significantly. But since it is a very big category already, the numbers would be 20-25% year-to-year basis.
India majorly imports from countries like the US, New Zealand, Chile, and Vietnam. The top fruits imported are the durian fruit, dragon fruit, Thai guava, cherries, kiwis, avocados, blueberries, and the Washington apple. In next half an hour, we will take you through an interesting journey of one such produce, which is grown all the way across in America at Stemilt plantations and yet finds its way into your and my fruit basket. Apples as we know it is one of the most endorsed fruit in India. Apples are a source of much needed iron and vitamins. So today we take a journey into one of the best brands globally and get a first-hand look into what, where and how of the fruit orchards. From picking to the packaging and its travel into India, into the supply chain and finally to us.
So we grow apples, pears, cherries and stone fruits here in Washington State and in California. The growth in the apple industry has been quite good over the last number of years. We've grown many new varieties as well as Red Delicious and Goldens and Grannies, the typical varieties, but certainly seen a lot of growth here in the Northwest. India has been a big part of our success over the last number of years too.
Here in the farms of Washington State's Wenatchee, we shall try to find out more about the process from one of the top producers of these apples. Stemilt is one of the biggest producer and distributor of Washington apples. Not only for the US domestic market, but it also exports it worldwide.
Our position in the market generally is to go in after the local apples are finished for the season, and so then we're able to come in and supply high quality apples late in the season. The growth markets for us India, China, all along the Pacific has been a much bigger growth for us in the last number of years, for sure.
The Matheson family, which owns Stemilt, takes pride for being a family of passionate fruit farmers and sustainable farming practices. The Mathesons have been into this business since 1964 and have been exporting to India for more than a decade.
Starting with the basics, India is plus or minus the number 3 export market for Washington apples. And that is an average of about 3.7 million boxes a year, which is 3,700 ocean containers, it's a lot of fruit.
Among the apples grown around the world, Washington state is known for its high-quality apples, and among these, the orchards owned by Stemilt are considered one of the best. Stemilt is the leader in organic fruit production in US and the largest grower, packer, shipper of apples, pears, cherries, and stone fruit.
Well, Washington state produces by far the majority of apples in the US. The numbers vary from year to year. It was sometimes at 60%, sometimes at 70%. Washington is far outweighs New York, which is next, and Michigan, and actually all the other growing states put together. Of Washington state, we are one of the probably top 5 largest grower shippers.
Stemilt apple orchards are located in Tri-Cities, the Columbia Basin, Wenatchee Valley, and Chilon. The Tri-Cities is located in south central of Washington, which is one of the largest apple producing regions. In the north of Tri-Cities lies the Columbia Basin, which has widespread apple growing district. Orchards here are located in the towns of Quincy, George, and Mattawa. The orchards here are modern with high-density plantations of new variants of apples such as a Pinata, Sweet Tango, and Honeycrisp. Meanwhile, Wenatchee Valley, where we are now, is considered the apple capital of the world. This is the hub of our star of the story, the Washington apples. Packaging and shipping of Stemilt's majority produce is done from this location. The last stop for the apple orchards is at the Chelan or Okanogan region, which is small but has widespread districts that grow apple. The region stretches from north of Wenatchee to the Canadian border.
All apples are grown differently, right? And so the varying qualities apples we need to find markets for. And certainly domestically there's certain qualities that we need to export or to sell domestically. The challenge for us is always to get the highest utilization and the highest value, grade or quality. And for Washington State, one of the real competitive advantages that we have is that a lot of our apples we are able to grow in the higher quality portions of the manifest, and that really allows us to be more effective and more competitive, globally as an apple producer.
Washington State has about 175,000 acres of apple orchards, and 6 out of every 10 apples consumed in America come out of here. These apples are also exported to around 60 countries across the world. The state on an average grows 142.3 million boxes of apples per year, and that is about 20 kgs a box. And that's a lot of apples. So in the next side of the story, we will find out how the very best of the Washington apples come from the farms of this region into the Indian market.